The Turk's head knot. This particular Turk's head knot I'm going to show you today is one of the easiest, I think, to tie. You just tie it on your hand and you don't really have to think too hard about it. Once you know it, you will know this particular knot forever. And the great thing about this knot is, it's a 4-bite Turk's head, this knot. This here on my Swedish fid is exactly the same. It is a 4-bite Turk's head made in exactly the same way as this one. So if you've got a small piece of cordage and you want to put it on something to make it more decorative, or a pole, or if you've got larger cordage, you can put this around a pole as well. I'll show you how to do that in the video. But also, if you want to make yourself a good thump mat to protect your decks, because I know you've paid a fortune for your boats, and the last thing you want to do is anybody damage it by dropping something heavy into a certain area. And so what I'm going to do is I will show you how to make both versions. In fact, we're going to make this version just using this rope here. So we'll do the mat and a normal Turk's head to wrap around a pillar, a pole, or something like that. So let's get on and do it. And during the course of the video, I will tell you what the measurements are for this particular piece, and also any information that's shown in the video. Watch it to the end, because at the end I'll put up different links for you so that you can go and find stuff that I mentioned throughout the video itself. Blah, 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 blah. Let's stop talking, John, and get on with it. So here we go. I've got my rope. Don't forget, at the end of the video I'll tell you what sizes I used. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a covering knot similar to this one, but this one's very fine cord, and obviously this is 10 times thicker. And we're going to use this to cover an object, a big pillar or something like that. So the first thing we do is we just throw all of our rope out the way and just take one end like so. And when we take one end like so, we then take it, wrap it round the back of our hand like so. I'm leaving a bit of a loop because we want some gap there. Taking it round the back like so, and then bringing it over like so, so that it crosses this lead here. So it's crossing the original one and taking it round the back. So now that I've done that, you can see here, so hard to work with, it's such a tight lay, this rope. So you can see here, this rope is now crossing that rope there. So now that we've done that, we then take this working end again, we bring it round, and we bring it in between our two here like so. But what we also do is we tuck it underneath the right hand one and bring all our leads through. And don't worry, this will be shown again in a little bit. And what I'm doing is just squaring it up a bit so that it's quite even. Right, so now that we've done that, we've then got our working end here is pulled out of the way, and the next thing we do is we take got our two loops here, take this one here and pass it over the other one like so, so that we form that shape there. And then once we've done that, all we do is take our working end again and pass it through our cord like so, and pass it all through. When you've got a long length of rope, it goes on forever. There we go, and we've passed it through, and then we take the lead round again, round our hand. That's it, round our hand like so, and then that's it. That's the Turk's head done. And all we're doing now is passing it through here like so, just to complete the circuit. So we've now done a full circuit, and that is our 4-bite Turk's head has now been completed. And so when I let go of this, you will see here that we've now got a nice Turk's head has appeared here. And what I'm going to do now is, this is so simple now, all I'm going to do is follow. So this lead here is going to goes this way, and what I'm going to do is take the working end here, and all I'm going to do is go all the way round and follow that lead. So let's just start the process now. You can put it down, and I get my working end, and so here we go. That's the lead we're following. It goes round and it goes through there. So just follow it round to the right hand side of it and then pull the excess through. Keep pulling and there we go, and pull that through. And so you want to keep it so it's nice and even now, and all I'm going to do is just continue round and going through there. So what I'll do is I'll put this on. Hey, I've learnt a new video technique, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward it to show you what I'm doing, and then we'll pause again in a second when we get to the next bit. So, as you can see now, I've got my Turk's head here and I've doubled it up now. It's got two runs around the actual Turk's head itself. And I've got enough cordage here now to do a third run. So what I'm going to do is put it on fast forward again and you can watch me do the third one in fast forward. So there you go, I've gone round 3 times, so there's 3 leads going round each one, and you can see here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bites and 3 leads, so it's a 4x3 Turk's head. And so the next thing, once you've tied this, the next thing you would do, you can either tie it on a stanchion or a pole if you don't get access to it, exactly the same way as I showed you over my hand, but what I'm going to do is just fit this nice and snug over my bottle like so, and you can see here now we've got a rather lovely Turk's head. You know, it look quite nice on your boat, ship, whatever you've got, and it'll catch the dribbles. And the next thing I would do is I would basically cut that off and tuck it underneath, and cut this one off here and tuck it underneath. Maybe go round one more time just to make sure it's really tight on there. But that is a Turk's head used to wrap around an object. The other useful thing about a Turk's head as well is if you've got a round piece of wood, I mean for example I've got a walking stick and it actually split down the middle. It split down this point here, and so what I did is at this point here I put a really tight Turk's head round it just to make it secure again, and it worked, it did the job. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to do exactly the same knot, but this time you'll be able to make a thump mat, or if you're using small, you can even use this as a coaster if you want. If you can get all of this into one glass, you'd need a big coaster. So what I'll do is I will now show you exactly the same knot again. I'll show you how to turn it into a thump mat or coaster. So let's get on and do that. So I've taken my rope off the bottle now, and then I'm going to show you this time how to do exactly the same knot as before. So instead of putting it around an object like this is, we're going to make a thump mat out of it. And it's very simple. So we do exactly the same as before. We lay the standing end of our rope in the palm of our hand, and we take it round the back of our hand like so, cross it over at the front here, and then take it round the back again. And keep 2 even loops at this point here. So as you can see here, in the palm of my hand, it is crossing over at that point. So hold that crossover steady, and then the working end goes round again, and this time it passes over where it crosses at that point there, and it's going to come in through that hole there. So I'm going to bring it over and through that hole. So let me get the working end, and it's miles away from where I want it, and then so bring it over and pass it in through that hole like so, and get it all through. Take all the kinks out of it, take it through and pull it back. So that's the first part. So if I show you my palm here, you can see where it's crossed over the original line here, and it's going over here, and then it's going out through that hole there. And then once I've done that, we just basically turn it over, and of these two here, we pass that one over that one there so that it crosses. And then we take our working end again, and we pass our working end down through the middle and out through this one here, and then take all the excess through. Oh, it's so much harder with camera. Okay, pull it all through like so. There we go, and we've pulled that through, and then keep that at the same distance here. And so that's gone through there, and then now that goes round the back of my hand again and comes up at the front. So bring it up to the front like so, bring it all through. Now you can see our original cord is sticking out there, and all we're going to do now is follow our original cord around. But let's just tuck it through first of all so we lock it in place. So if I now put this through, and in the last one we basically followed that cord all the way around. We're going to do that again in a second, but first thing I'm going to do is just lock it so that our Turk's head is locked in place. And now that I've put that through like that, it's locked in place. The Turk's head is there. I can promise you it's there, and that is all now locked in place. But if we want to make a mat now, what we basically do is just fold our Turk's head like so. So it goes in a bit. Fold it in on itself, like so, and just neaten it up, and you can gradually see here. So now you can see here that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bites of my Turk's head. And so now, because I've flattened it, we've created a mat, not a map. If we created a map, we'd be soon lost. So I've created a Turk's head mat here, and now what I'm going to do is this lead here, I'm just going to simply take this, my working end here, and I'm going to follow that round. So what I'll do is I'll do that in fast time again and see if my video editing techniques work. So I'll catch you again in a second, and don't forget, yes, at the end I will tell you what size this is. So what I've done is I've gone round 3 times, and the next thing I'm going to do now, because it looks a little bit ugly at the moment, is I'm going to go round again and just tighten it all up. So what I'll do is just pull up any slack bits that there are, go all the way round, pull them up nice and neat and tight, and you're just gently working your way through it. Don't pull it too tight, because you want to still have an elegant looking knot at the end of it with nice curves in it. But what you're doing is just taking any slack out of it, and you'll find that when I've finished I will have gone round 3 times, and there'll be quite a little bit of rope left over, I'd like to think, at the end. So just keep, whoops, pulled the wrong one there, we're back at the beginning. So just pull that through, and I'm going to go round and just tidy it up then. So there we have it, bit of fiddling and tweaking, and you can see here now I've got a nice shaped Turk's head mat with 1, 2, 3, 4 bites in it. Now the thing is, tweak it a bit more. This one's still slightly scruffy because you can make it more symmetrical. And the next thing you would do is turn it over, and basically these two cords here, you would splice them together, usually with a side splice, or you can whip it together so that these two cords are underneath, hidden out the way, and you don't see them. And so now we've got something that protects our deck. Bang. Deck is protected, and it looks decorative. So you could, if you had smaller cords, use coasters, make them into coasters, etc. Now this particular cord here is 1/2 inch diameter. It's a natural cord. It's very hard lacer, quite difficult to work with this one. It's 1/2 inch diameter, and the other thing was, oh yes, that little thing there used up 12 foot exactly of cordage. I had a piece of cord 12 foot long, and that is how much it used to create this particular Turk's head. So yes, they are very hungry when it comes to using rope. So there you go, that is the Turk's head thump mat. Just if you're learning to do it, the first one or the second one, when I showed you working it round the hand, exactly the same procedure, just rewind it, watch it again, and as you learn to do it, you'll love this knot. You'll be, put it this way, once you've learned the Turk's head knot, it will be everywhere. Your house, the home, ship, wherever you are, will have Turks and their heads all over the place. You end up putting it around every tool you own, just so that you recognise them. So that's it. Once again, thanks very much for watching, and please do share this video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you again next time for a different knot. Bye bye.